Today I'm doing the mid-year Freakout book tag, which I'm really excited for because I haven't done any book tag videos yet. Question 1 is the best book you read so far in 2020. So this is a tough one for me. I want to pick 2 books, so I guess I just will. It's a toss-up between Catch and Kill by Ronan Farrow and The Book of Joy. Kind of funny because those are like polar opposite books, but whatever. Those are the 2 best books I've read so far this year. The Book of Joy I would literally recommend to anyone and everyone. It's really good, especially if you're going through difficult times or need a new perspective. And here's my dog. Stop, don't lick the books. Anyways, the book is full of so many pearls of wisdom that really stick with you. Hi, puppy. This is 2 for the meter. Hi, okay, sit. There was one line in particular that I still think about, and it was something like, happiness is not what makes us grateful. Gratefulness is what makes us happy. I do really think that's a valuable thought to sit with. Okay, question 2 was the best sequel you read in 2020. I have not read a lot of sequels, but I did enjoy Siege and Storm. I have not finished Ruin and Rising. I have gone extremely slow with it. You know, the second one was better than the third, maybe. Okay, anyways, moving on. Question number 3 is a new release that you want to read but haven't read yet, and that is Havenfall. Kind of matches my shirt today. So I read some of Sarah Holland's other books. I think they're called Everless and Evermore, and I did enjoy them for that YA fantasy feel. So I'm hoping that this has some good escapism. Question number 4 is what is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year for me? Now there are several books I'm really excited about, but I am really especially excited for Lightbringer. The end of Kingsbane, which is the book right before Lightbringer, left me emotionally destroyed. I am like counting down the seconds for Lightbringer, which is interesting because the first book in the series, Furyborn, didn't really do it for me. I wasn't absolutely in love with it, but I decided to give the second book a try. I liked it enough to, see where it went. And Kingsbane was so much better for me than Furyborn. So the story really just began to unravel, and there's so many different threads. If you've read Kingsbane, you'll be like, I see what you did there. That I am just so excited for Lightbringer. I need it now. Okay, anyway. Number 5 is the biggest disappointment. So I have 2. The first one was Find Me. I enjoyed Call Me By Your Name for its really bittersweet, poignant love story that I think is really universal. And I was really looking forward to Find Me. And it was one of the most disappointing books I've ever read, I think. It was just exceptionally bad, and it did a huge disservice to the first book. Okay, the other book I was really disappointed by was The Betrothed by Kira Cass. I have read the selection in the past, and I did like it when I was younger. In fact, I really liked it. So when I saw that she was writing a new book, I was like, click, pre-order right away. And it was so bad. Everything about it was so bad that it made me even question if the selection was any good. The characters were so flat and one-dimensional, and the dialogue was weird. All of it was very weird. I would not recommend it. Next question, biggest surprise of the year so far. So I think the biggest surprise was this book, History of Wolves by Emily Friedland. I picked this book up at the bookstore a year or 2 ago, and I honestly forgot about it. It just sat on my shelf like so many books do. Again, I went into it knowing absolutely nothing about the plot. It's about a young girl who is lonely and has a kind of weird upbringing, and she is taken in by these neighbors that move in across the lake from her in Minnesota, which, by the way, the setting was like a character itself. It was so full of depth, and it was so intriguing. It was a read that really requires you to think and reflect and break down all the different layers. It was really, really deeply nuanced and layered. So this was a very pleasant surprise for me. Put it on the stack. 7, favorite new author, debut, or new to me. I'm going to say Ronan Farrow or James Baldwin, neither of which are new. James Baldwin is especially not new. In the beginning of the year, I read If Beale Street Could Talk, and it's been one of my favorite reads all year. And then Ronan Farrow was a totally new author to me. I knew who he was before reading his book, but I had no idea what a great writer he was, so it was another really pleasant surprise. Newest fictional crush. This is hard because a lot of the books I've been reading this year don't really have like characters you would crush on, but I guess I would say Hunt from Crescent City because he fits the bill the most. Newest favorite character. Again, I haven't read enough amazing books this year where there were characters I absolutely fell in love with, but I did read some of the Percy Jackson books, which I started, like 10 years ago and never got around to finishing, so I decided to finish the series, and I really liked Percy Jackson. Books that made you cry. Again, I have two. If Beale Street Could Talk made me tear up, and then A Man Called Uva also made me cry like a baby. Okay, question 11. Book that made you happy. The Book of Joy, of course. This book really has so much value and insight, and it was just overall a really, really great read. Okay, most beautiful book you've bought so far this year. So I didn't read this year. I read it last year, but I had to track down the UK edition because, look at it. It's so beautiful. I had to have it. And, oh my gosh, oops. It's I Want 10. Also one of my favorite books of all time, so a worthy purchase. All right, going on the stack. All right, final question. What books do you need to read by the end of the year? So I know everyone is probably answering it this way, but obviously a ton. But there's a few books that I started and didn't totally finish, and so I think those are at the top of my list. I want to finish Emma by Jane Austen. I was really enjoying it. I love the movie Clueless, and I had never read Emma. And then I also want to finish As I Lay Dying by William Faulkner. I'm trying to make my way through a lot of classics, and so I started it and didn't finish it. And then I also would really like to get to Serpent and Dove this year because I've seen so many good reviews, and also I'm supposed to do it as a buddy read with my book bestie, so hopefully we get around to it sometime. Put it on the stack. Okay, I also really want to read Sorcery of Thorns. The cover is so gorgeous. I've heard so many good things about it. I keep putting it at the top of my to-be-read list, and then it just doesn't happen. So that's on the list. And then, last but not least, I would really like to finish the 3 Dark Crowns series. I started this, 2 Dark Reigns, and I still have my bookmark in there too. So I'm about 53 pages in. So I really want to finish the series because I really enjoyed the first book and the second book. And now I'm starting to forget what even happened. I also bought the final book signed by the author. So I need to get on this. There's some series I need to wrap up. So that's it for the mid-year book Freakout tag. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a lot of fun thinking over the 56 books I've read so far this year. I forgot to mention at the beginning of the video, I have read 56 books so far this year, and most of them have fallen short of my expectations. So leave me a comment below if you have any suggestions for amazing 2020 reads, or leave me a comment below if you have any thoughts about any of the books I mentioned. All right, see you guys in my next video.